गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमा प्रसुप्ताम् सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्याश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते Yatubhyam. And that's exactly what we were doing in Srimad Bhagavat. We are on Canto 12, Chapter 6, verse number 67 we were looking at. And here it is Yagyavalkya Vacha. Last week I told you Yagyavalkya is the main character of Chandogya Upanishad, where so many stories are given. And here Om Namo, Yagyavalkya is saying, Om Namo Bhagavate Adityaya Akhila Jagata Atma Gata Jagata Jagatam Atma Swarupena Kala Swarupena Chaturvida Bhuta Nikayanam Brahmadi Stamba Paryantanam अंतर्हृदयेषुं बहिः अपि च आकाश इव उपाधि नाव्यवधीयमानः भवानेक एव क्षणलव निमेषावयव उपचित संवत्सर गणेन अपामादान विसर्गाभ्याम इमाम लोकयात्राम अनुभवति. So some of the words you will recognize, but not all of them. So what is he saying here? Hail to the, remember what was the story before? Forgotten? Remember? So that Yajnavalkya, we saw how from teacher to student the knowledge was coming, and remember the teacher had given the knowledge to Yajnavalkya because he was the best student. Then he told the other students also to take, and all those other students, what did they do? They were taking long. What was it? They went through on behalf of the teacher course of penance to expiate a sin of Brahmanicide. Means by mistake they had killed some Brahmin, a devotee of the Lord or the truth, and they had killed him. So to expiate that sin, they had been asked by their teacher Vaishampayan to go and do some tapasya. And having done that, and while they were doing that tapasya, Yajnavalkya, who was another disciple of Vaishampayan Rishi, said to his preceptor, of what account, whenever will this be, will be the reward obtained through penance of these pupils of your pure strength. I shall undergo a course of penance very difficult to practice. He started unnecessarily. He was the best student. But this is sometimes we saw even in ashram when we were there. Students are competing with each other. School it is okay, but one must not. One, if competition is bringing out the best in you, it's okay. But truthfully, comparison, competition should not be there in our heart. This is the uh, modern way of looking at it, the Western way of looking at it. You be don't be motivated by the lack of another person. Don't be motivated by the shortcomings of another person. Don't be motivated by self confidence that I can do better than the other person. This is all in comparison. Instead, what should be? We should be inspired, because what we want to do has absorbed our mind. It does not matter whether people appreciate or do not appreciate. We are charging forth because we are, just like I'm speaking right now. I don't want you, before you were not there, I was only speaking to the computer, but still the same. So, same way, difficulties will come, but we have to keep on. Not, but Yajnavalkya did the wrong thing. He said, what are these other disciples? I am in his mind, because he was the best, the arrogance must have gone in. He says, oh, these fellows are doing only tapasya, I can do better tapasya than them. What will they get result? I will get better result. So the teacher who had given all the knowledge of the Vedas to him, he said, give it back. So how do we give it back? So he became he vomited it out. And as I spoke to you last week, that either he took the form of a Taitriya is a patridge, and then he vomited all the knowledge as a vomit, or you can say that because in those times whatever was passed on to the student was always by word of mouth, nothing written, only by, so he must have spoken and he must have grasped it. So he said, give it back. So when he gave it back, so see, remember, another way you can put it is, in a positive sense, that the teacher wanted to see whether this disciple knows it or not, because it was only word of mouth. So instead of saying that I will tell these 6 students who have committed a sin and they are doing penance, they should get, now after having done the penance, some result will come. So what is that result? So when he asked Yajnavalkya to blurt out or tell back whatever he has gained from him, he said, give it back. So he spoke back to the teacher. Once when I was studying, those were my special days of sadhana in Switzerland. And I had photographic memory. And I was sitting at the back, and I always used to see the sun in my third eye. My eyes were up like that, and I'm not always, I used to be in the front bench, now I'm at the back bench. And I'm swinging away like that because I'm enjoying the focus on the sun. But I'm aware of everything. And the teacher is talking, then she threw the chalk to me, whether I'm attentive. I looked at her, smiled, again I started, and good student, no? How come this good student has gone to the back? So 10, 15 minutes, 45-minute class, after half an hour, she asked me, hey, whatever my name was that time. She said, are you listening? I said, yes, I am listening, and I am smiling away, and I didn't open my eyes. She says, are you taking me for a ride? I said, no, I don't have to. So she says, what did I say? I said, what do you want to hear? Last 1 minute, last 5 minutes, last entire half an hour? And it's coming out of my mouth. I didn't say, I said, half an hour, मैं कैसे बोलूँगा? This doubt didn't come. And she says, don't be a smart SS. Don't be a smart ass. Tell what I said. And from the first chapter, from the moment she entered into the classroom, whatever she said, I kept repeating, talk, 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 talk. Oh, she freaked out, man. I freaked out afterwards. How did this happen? I don't know. But this is what happens when it's a different state. Now you ask me, I can't remember any mantra. But this thing you can, when you're so focused. I used to focus on sun that time. I used to sit on the terrace and without blinking keep looking at the sun. And that's how this thing happened. So he must have also done something like that, because now I can relate to it. And he blurted it out like I blurted it out to the teacher. While he was telling it back to the teacher, these 6-7 students who were doing penance for the wrong that they had committed, they listened. And that time knowledge was passed through word of mouth to the ears of the student. So they heard Yajnavalkya speaking, so they got all that knowledge. And that is Taittiriya Upanishad, the 3 Vallis. Bhrigu Brahmananda Valli and one more. Very beautiful Taittiriya Upanishad. You listen to it sometime. तुमने पढ़ा है, सुना है? नहीं, but have you chanted it with the ups and downs? Oh, one day, remind me next week. Then I'll bring that book. Then I can chant. Or if I can do it afterwards, we'll see. Okay, anyway, that was Taittiriya Upanishad. Why? Because the Taittiriya, the patronage, vomited, therefore it is called a Taittiriya Upanishad. So that, so those young, the other sages, they beheld those portions of Yajurveda and greatly enamored of them, assumed the form of patronages and picked them up. Okay. So he did not become patronage, but those who had committed the sin, they became patronages and they ate the vomit which was blurted out. In other words, they listened to it, whichever way you take it. Then assumed the form of patronages and picked them up. Thereafter, that most attractive branch of Yajurveda came to be known by the name of the Taittiriya, connected with patronages, seeking to obtain additional Shrutis not even known to his preceptor. Yajnavalkya, O Brahmana, says, thereupon duly extolled the sun god, the master of the Vedas, as follows. So then he started praying to the Lord Sun. So what did I do for that Siddhi? Lord Sun. Because first Narayana gave the knowledge to Lord Sun. So if you focus as a student, if you focus, you will get it. It's amazing abilities come. In young age you can do it. I don't know. I should be able to do it, but I am not inspired to do it anymore. But if you are ready to explore the possibilities of your mind, focus on the sun without blinking and without getting an headache. Keep doing it for a few days. If you do it 3 days continuously, over. You don't need to do too many days, only 3 days. Anyway, so what did he say? Hail to the sun god, being the bestower who can give all the knowledge. So he wants to be greater than his teacher. Who was the teacher? Vaishampayan. And who was the student? Yajnavalkya. And this Yajnavalkya wants to know more Shrutis than his teacher. And therefore, Vaishampayan is a person in front of him. He is now praying to the sun god. Hail to the almighty sun god, denoted by the sacred syllable Om. I explained this last week, that dwelling as the very soul of the universe in the heart of multitudes of created beings, falling under the 4 categories This also we explained that without the sun, the life as we know it is not possible, isn't it? Your body is there only because heat is there, otherwise they will all freeze to death. There is the Jataragni jo bolte hai na, that is there. What is that Jataragni? What is keeping the earth warm? It is the light of the sun only. And because of that, 4 types of life is created on the planet. What are the 4 ways of, remember? Last week we did some, first was by egg, second Swedaja from sweat, Andaja, Swedaja, third, hey, wait, let the kids answer. Huh? Forgotten? Huh? Yeah, you were there. I made you sit, you were answering. What? You were not there? They were there, no? They were sitting here. He was also there. He was answering. He is the one who said the first one, Andaj, that from the egg the life is born. Last Saturday. Man, you are getting older than me. Right? He said it first. You've forgotten already. Okay, let's do it again. And I'll ask again next time and they'll say, you didn't do anything. Take me for a ride. So, life on this planet comes from 4 sources. First is egg. Life, things are born from egg. So, birds give eggs. From eggs come chooks or chicks. Which one are you? Chook or chick? You know, we are chicken. So chicks or chooks. Then second, your dad said, it is Swedaja. Swedaja means from sweat, fungus, and all the stems, mold. That is also life. Third type, how you were born. How are you born? You fell from a tree? From the womb. So all life that comes out of a placenta, which is in the womb, that is called Jarayuja. So now we have Andaja, Swedaja, Jarayuja, and fourth one more. Udbija. How are trees born? Seeds. Now you remember last time we were discussing? Man, they are taking. How do you study in school if you can't remember even what happened? No, you were focusing totally here. Yeah, you were answering me, and first one he said, second one I think you said, third your dad said, fourth one she said or he said. No. There are senior citizens behind you. 3 of them. We are young. 1 week में भूल गए मेरे को उल्लू बना रहे हैं कि no, he didn't have any. Okay, anyway. So, recognize from the egg, from the placenta, from the seed, and from the sweat. These are the 4 ways life comes on this planet. This science will not teach you. When you study biology, they will not teach you this. Udbija. Andaja, in the same sequence. Egg, sweat, seed, and placenta. So, from the egg is Andaja, from sweat is Swedaja, from seed is Udbija, and from placenta is Jarayuja. So he said, under 4 categories, mammals, oviparous creatures, sweat-born, and those sprouting from the soil. So they are given different names, but these are the 4 names. From Brahma down to a clump of grass, and outside too, as the wheel of time revolving in the form of years made up of minute parts like an instant, a moment, and the twinkling of an eye, yet unlimited by any condition like the sky. Hmm? So, because of the sun, all life is happening on the planet, but because of the life, sun is not affected. Because of the water, oceans and waves are formed, but because of oceans and waves, water is not affected. Because of the sky, the blueness of the sky happens, or the rainbow comes, or the clouds come. But because of the clouds and rainbow and the blueness of the sky doesn't get affected. Similarly, he is praising the Lord Sun, that, oh Lord Sun, you are so great that you are not affected, even though without you all the life as we know it cannot happen. You maintain the progress of the world. It is because of the sun only, because we have day and night and the time as it is moving for us, that now a full moon, no moon, that is also because of the light of the sun only. Then we have got the years going by. All that is because of the sun. If the sun is not there, all these calculations are impossible. So he is saying that you maintain the progress of the world all alone by sucking in the hot seasons and releasing the moisture during monsoon, meaning all the seasons are also happening because of you, O Lord Sun. Then this passage explains the meaning of the first foot of the Gayatri Mantra, means Or Bhur Swaha. Then in the 68th verse, Yaduha Vava Vibudharshabha Savitaradas Tapatya Nusavan Savana Maharaha Ramnaya Vidhina Upatishtham Ananama Akhila Durita Vrujina Bijava Bharjana Bhagavataha Samabhidhimahi Tapanamandalam. Some words I must have got it wrong. I don't know where to break them. If I think I will. Savitaha. So Savitara das tapatya. Tapatya is one word. Savitaradaha tapatyan. Tapatya. I don't know. Anusavan Maharahara. Anyway, you can work it out. We'll read the English. Easier. We duly and devoutly contemplate on that well-known orb of your venerable self, O jewel among gods, which is burning over there, O Father of the universe, who burn away all the sins and miseries resulting from them, as well as their seed, that is ignorance, of those who wait upon you with prayers, etc., in the manner prescribed by the Vedas thrice every day, morning, evening, as well as at midday. What is that thrice? Sandhya. Sandhya. Three Sandhya. Sandhya is when the sun is rising, the dawn, the dusk, and the midday. These three times we should remember the sun. We should do the Sandhya. And how do you do the Sandhya? You do it with the Gayatri Mantra. As midday, this passage explains the meaning of the second foot of the Gayatri Mantra as the inner control. Okay, next one, 69. Ya iha vava sthira chara nikaranam nija niketananam mana indriya suganan anatmanaha swayamatmanantaryami prachodayati. So that is the last third part of the Gayatri Mantra, as the inner controller of multitudes of mobile and immobile creatures in this visible universe, which is well known, constitute your own bodies. You being their very self, you direct their mind, senses and vital airs which are all material and therefore inert. This explains the meaning of the third and last foot of the Gayatri Mantra. Understand, the Lord Sun is not only out there in the sun hanging in the sky. Where is the sun? Where is the real location of the sun? The right eye is the real location of the sun. That is also temporary. What is the real location? If you go further back, the self is the true location of the sun. Self, Atman. That brightness is borrowed by the mind, then mind borrows it to the eye gives it to the sun gives it to the planet. That is the sequence. But we think it the other way around, isn't it? So therefore, we are singing when we are singing Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tapa Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. This prayer is not merely about the sun outside, but it is the sun of all suns. The Na Tatra Suryo Bhati Na Chandra Tarakam. Who is that brightest of brightest? Hello Lavanya. How are you? Good? So, what is that light which is brighter than the brightest? That is the Atman. So, actually speaking, because we, as a spiritual seeker, if you start from where your attention is in the outside world. So, if you have not purified your mind, Adi Bhautik, meaning the worldly, then Adi Daivik, that is the internal mind, then Adhyatmik, that is the ultimate sun. So the sun is also available at 3 levels. What is that? Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, Adhyatmik. Adi Bhautik is the sun which is out there hanging in the sky. Adi Daivik is the potential in your eyes which is able to illuminate everything, and that potential is the same as the potential in the sun. And the Adhyatmik is that life principle without which even the mind and the eyes cannot function. In this way, understand. Continuing in the 70th verse, Ya eva imam lokam atikarala vadanandhakara sanya jagara graha gilitam mrutakam iva vichetanam avalokyanu kampaya parama karunika ikshayai vothapya harahara nusavanam shreyasi swadharmakhyatma avasthane pravartayat yavani patirivasa patiriva sadhunam bhayamudirayanatati. अरे बाप रे, क्या क्या वर्ड्स हैं. What does it say, the 70th verse and the 71st also? Parita asha palais tatra tatra kamala koshanjali bhirupa hatar hanaha. So, that's it. It says, seeing this world swallowed by the diabolical python, which is the snake, bearing the name of darkness or ignorance, and wearing a most dreadful aspect, and therefore lying unconscious as the dead, you alone rouse it by your mere glance out of compassion. So the moment sun rises, that very moment the darkness, whether you call it from the earth, whether you call it in your mind, the moment knowledge rises, the ignorance goes away. And also when the realization of the self happens, the ignorance or darkness of the mind, the knot of the heart is cut once and for all. And what is that knot of the heart? It is the desire for anything in this world. So all desires are killed the moment the ultimate light starts shining, and that's what is told here. And direct it thrice every day to the adoration of the Supreme Spirit, leading to the highest good under the name of their own sacred duty. Like a king, you go about instilling fear in the heart of the wicked and waiting upon at every point by the guardians of the quarters with offerings of water and lotus bud in their joint palms. So, where do bad things happen? Have you ever seen a discotheque or a bar open early in the morning? They all become full and busy, or gambling den. Even if they are doing it inside the building is dark inside. Lights are only a little bit light. It's not bright, bright, bright. So they create an artificial darkness so that they can continue gambling, they can continue drinking. All bad things happen when it is dark, isn't it? But that darkness, how long can it last? How long can the darkness last? The moment sun comes, everything closes. The moment police comes, the thief runs. Same way here it is told that the moment sun comes up, the darkness keeps running. And the sun is prayed by the various directions. Guardians of quarter or maruts, they also go. That is told. And the last verse, Athaha Bhagavan Stava Charana Nalina Yugalam Tribhuvana Guru Bhihi Vanditam Aham Ayatayam Ayujakama Upasaram Iti. So he says, obviously for the same reason, O Lord, do I resort to your lotus feet, bowed to by those Indra and others, adored in all the three worlds, desirous as I am of receiving the knowledge of the portions of Yajurveda, unknown by anyone else, that is all. So he is making this prayer because you cannot get anything from anyone until unless you sing their praises. You cannot abuse someone, you cannot put someone down and expect to get something in return. So that is why you light lamp in your house. That is why you speak nicely to mummy. Mummy, I want a laptop. You are so wonderful. Your food is fantastic. It's uncomparable. And after some time, mummy will say, tell me what you want. You don't have to say anything. Mummy will automatically ask, what do you want? Laptop. Can you tell daddy? Or if the banker is the mummy, you will tell daddy, Daddy, you are so handsome. I have not seen a handsome fellow like you. Dad will say, Acha, kya chahiye? What do you want? Can you tell mummy to buy me a laptop? Release some cash. So same way, when we go to the temples, we chant 108 names of the Lord, we do the arti, we pray, you do kumkumarchana. For what? You want blessings from them, isn't it? He is praying, he is making the prayers for what? He wants to know that which no one knows. And he is not wanting the truth. He wants to show, or he wants to know that which even his guru doesn't know. Some richas, some sutras of the Yajurveda to be revealed to him. Because in the end you think all the Vedas, Upanishads, etc., all the verses in the Upanishads, they were revealed only to someone, na? To saints and sages. So he wants to be the wielder of, or to be the possessor of certain stream of Yajurveda. Suta Uvacha, we'll read 5 verses. Evam stutasya bhagavan vajirupadharo harihi yajunshya yatayamani munaye dat prasaditaha यजुर्भिरकरोच्छाखा दश पञ्चशतैर्विभुः जगृहुर्वाजसन्न्यस्ताः काण्वमाद्यन्दिनादयः जैमिने सामगस्यासीत् सुमन्तुस्तनयो मुनिः सन्वांस्तु तत्सुतस्ताभ्याम् एकैकां प्राह संहितां सुकर्मा चापि तच्छिष्यः सामवेदतरोर्महान् सहस्रसंहिताभेदं चक्रेतां नाम ततो द्विजः हिरण्यनाभकौसल्यः पौष्यञ्जिश्च सुकर्मणः शिष्यौ जगृहतुश्चान्यः अवतन्त्यो ब्रह्मवित्तमः. Will complete. उदीच्या सामगा शिष्या आसन् पञ्चशतानि वै पौष्यञ्ज्यावन्त्ययो चापि तांश्च प्राच्यान् प्रचक्षते लौगाक्षिर्माङ्गलिकुल्यः कुसीदकुक्षिरेव च पौष्यञ्जिशिष्या जुगृहुः संहितास्ते शतं शतं कृतो हिरण्यनाभस्य 24 संहिताः शिष्य ऊचे स्वशिष्येभ्यः शेषा आवन्त्य आत्मवान्. In this way, extolled in this way, the celebrated glorious sun god felt highly propitiated, means he became available to the disciple, he became available to the seeker. I can only say this, when I was doing that exercise, Lord Sun became available because he is the all-knower of what is going on. Past and future is known by Lord Sun of everyone. All knowledge is available with him. So, here Lord Sun is provided, and how did he bless? Here it will tell now. And assuming a form of a horse, taught the sage such portions of the Yajurveda as were unknown by anyone else. Evam studasa bhagavan vajirupadharo harihi yajunshayatayamani munayedat prasaditaha. So he gave it in the form of a horse. Yajurбhirakarochakha dashapanchashatairvibuhu जुगृहुर्वाजसन्त्यास्ताः काण्वमाद्यन्दिनादयः. Out of the countless mantras of Yajurveda revealed to him by the sun god, the powerful Yajnavalkya compiled as many as 15 shakhas, means 16 sections, known by the name of Vajasani. Sages Kanva, Madhyandina and others learned them. And why powerful Yajnavalkya? Means powerful intellect. It's able to remember everything. So what was told by Lord Sun, he became so available that it got revealed to him, or if the Lord Sun spoke to him from within, he was able to listen. Jaimine samagasyasit sumantustanayo munihi sunvanstu tatsutastabhyam ekaikam praha samhitam. In the 75th verse he says, Sage Sumantu was the son of sage Jaimini, the chanter of Samaveda, as taught to him by Vedavyasa, which we have already told before. And Sunvan was the son of Sumantu. Jaimini taught one collection to each of them. Then Sukarma, another Brahmana pupil of Jaimini, who had a mighty intellect, divided the tree of Samaveda into 1,000 collections of psalms. Means he divided into 1,000. Maybe it was a continuous one, maybe it was long sutras, but he made it in short stotras. Pushyanji and Avantya, as well as Hiranyanabha, had, it is said, 500 pupils who hailed from the north and learnt as many shakhas of Samaveda Huh? See, they say, now, okay, shakhas of Samaveda, yet antiquarians call them prachyas, perhaps construing the word in the sense of the ancient and not in the sense of Easterners, whatever it. Then in the 79th verse, he says, Laugakshir Mangali Kulya. From there, Laugakshi, Mangali, Kulya, Kusida, and Kukshi, other pupils of Pushyanji, learned 100 collections each. Then Krita, another pupil of Hiranyadabha, taught 24 collections to his own pupil, while Avantya, who was a man of self-control, taught the rest to his. And in this way, this chapter comes to a conclusion. Iti Srimad Bhagavate Mahapurane Paramahamsya Samhitayam Dvadasha Skande Veda Shakha Pranayanam Nama Shashtodhyayaha. Thus ends the sixth discourse entitled The Classification of the Vedas into so many Shaka schools in book 12 of the great and glorious Bhagavad Puran, otherwise known as Paramahamsa Samhita. Now you might be a bit bored listening to all this, because it's only talking about, except the story of who's this? Matangi. Instead, only the story of Yajnavalkya vomiting, all that was interesting. But who gave it to him? Who wants to know that, isn't it? But here we have to have a great respect and reverence, because when we study Vedas, when we get the Upanishads, whom have they come from? They have come from the Vedas, no? And from where have they come from? They have come from these sages. So unless and until we do not have respect and reverence for these sages, the Upanishadic knowledge will not become ours. So what did they do? You saw one example of Yajnavalkya. What tapasya he did, that he got the some shakha of the Yajurveda to him. So we must also become, whenever we are studying, now you are studying physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, English. No, I don't want to write. Why you don't know? No, in the olden times they used to only speak and people used to hear. We also want to hear and learn. Today's kids don't want to write, no? Nobody wants to write. Big problem in Sanskrit also. Nobody wants to write. That Saket, he is good at everything, but he doesn't want to write. Then last week I told you, one young kid, now he's going to turn 9 years, or he turned 9 years. Name is Vedanta, but doesn't want to write. Doesn't want to, but he will answer all questions, but doesn't want to write. Now what can I do? So maybe they are all, Satyug is coming. Nobody wants to write. Only the student listens from the teacher and knows it straight away. No writing required. Writing came only for the fools. That period is over now. Ved Vyasji saw the fools are coming, and the dark, have they taught you the dark ages in history?
The dark ages was when Rome was closed off to the world.
Close, not that far away. Maybe it was there, I don't know. But from not now, but say at least 1000, 1200, 14, 1500 years back, that entire period was supposed to be the dark ages. The knowledge started sprouting in the West from 1757 onwards, when they say the Industrial Revolution. Till then, all the scientists in Europe were burnt alive because they considered the world to be flat. And if Copernicus or Aristotle says that the world is round, burn. Because the church was so strong, it didn't want, Jesus is everything, earth has to be flat. But in our country, the knowledge was already, it was blazing away. But when did the knowledge become almost extinct in our country? Or you can say, when it started becoming less and less, when did it start becoming less? It started becoming less when the Muslim invasion came. Even in our country, wars were not too much before that. So it used to be that if you are running a kingdom and I am running a kingdom, I want to, and I, what you call, want to make your kingdom mine. So how do you do it? I'll send my pandits, my priests to you, or the sages, and they will hold a debate with your sages. And if the king, and if the king gets, the sages of that kingdom get defeated, that kingdom has to become Hindu or Buddhist or whatever. This is how the competition used to go on. Yes, there were some wars, we are not saying it is not, but not the atrocities that are going on right in the present time. So when the Muslims came, then conversion began. That is the Dark Ages. Conversion is Dark Ages. Now the Gurukul system slowly became less, and then when the Britishers came, they completely destroyed the education system of India. That is Dark Ages. Now when is the Satyug, the ages of light, when it is starting? Since 2014, when Modi has come. You know, last week, NCERT, National Council of NCERT, Education, Research and something, they have changed the history book of India. No more what the Britishers and the leftists they were teaching, they have taken it out. We are no longer, because Britishers wanted to show that they were greater than the Indians, so they said the Aryans came from Europe. Our history book tells what the research today tells, and that is Aryans are originals of India. They say, oh, they came to the Harappan area and then they migrated to Indo-Gangetic plain. Nothing like that. It was already there. The knowledge was already present. It was not discovered. It was not given by someone to us. It is our apni dharohar hai. It is ours for not now, for thousands, 20,000 years. And as in our history books, more Muslim kings were talked about, and Hindi, Shivaji, Rana Pratap, and all other, the South Indian kings, Tipu Sultan also was वैसे ही था. Cholas, Pandyas, about them nothing, only four lines was given. Now a complete detailed, much better. It's not complete overhaul is not there, but at least 30% they have changed. I heard someone was sent me some information. So that is good beginning. Slowly it will change further. So in this manner, we will study our scriptures. So now West says, last week also I was telling you, the West says all discoveries, all Archimedes principle, Pythagoras theorem, the what do you call, the calculus, the this and trigonometry, and what else do you study? Transplants, in doctors do transplants, and all this is discovered by the either the Arabs or the Europeans, because the names are all Pascal's theory, Archimedes principle, these are all Europeans. But all these formulas and knowledge has been taken from the Vedas. But the world doesn't want to listen to that, because right now they are running they are the rulers of the world. And now slowly, there are many videos now on people are making after the research. And you see, you go to the Jaipur dialogues. He's the one, Rajiv Malhotra, very, he has even spoken at the UN. Even our Swamiji has gone and spoken at his organization. Very wonderful work he is doing. And that is to make Indians proud of their past, of their own culture. Don't copy and ape the Westerners. Don't copy and ape the Westerners. What is, I got a person staying with me. His child was there. The child will get up in the morning, go to school. Hey, you have to take shower and go to school, okay? I said, oh, very good. Do you do that? Yes. Now, wife and child have gone to India. He has come to stay. He doesn't take shower in the morning. So now I'm the dad. Kuwara Baap. Acha, what are you doing? I don't hear you taking shower in the morning when you go to work. He says, no, Swamiji, I take shower at night so that I don't have to take shower in the morning. I said, that's the whole point, that you must take shower in the morning. No, I go to work and then when I come back, then I go for a jog and I come back, then I take shower and then I get good sleep. Oh, so sleep is more important, but becoming fresh in the morning after shower and then going to work, that is not important. See how where did this habit come from? Where did this habit? It doesn't come anywhere in our culture. It comes from the Britishers. They never used to take shower for weeks together. In Europe, I'm not just telling Britishers, in Europe, to take shower was a sin once upon a time. You are not supposed to wash yourself. Read. It's only after copying us they started taking shower at least. If you go to America, they don't go to toilet every day. You go to toilet every day? I am serious, I am not joking. Do you go to toilet every day? Yes or no?
Yes.
In America, they go once a week, twice a week. And that too, then they have to take tablet, they have to take something, otherwise they are not used to it. गंदा इसलिए जाएंगे ही नहीं. They'll carry it everywhere. It's a big problem in America. I'm not making it up. It's a big problem. Because basic hygiene is not there. Many people you must have come across that they eat food and they don't wash hands. You wash hands? You? Okay, you wash hands. Do you rinse your mouth?
After eating?
Do you rinse your mouth? You take, after eating food, do you take water? Do you do that? Okay, you should do that. Otherwise, by the time you are 30, 35, 40, teeth will start coming out. Because the food that is stuck in between your teeth, that will rot, and very soon you will start having, what do you call those? Cavities. So what is our culture saying? At least, okay, we do it 3-4 times. Actually they say 16 times you should gargle and then throw the water out. So that and how you should throw? Not just, no, you should push it through the teeth so that all that pressure pushes out whatever particles are stuck in the teeth. So these are small things. Like our kids at home, because they are so lazy, they don't want to make chapati. So what they want to eat? Frozen chapati. Frozen. Then eat what? Put it in the microwave. In 1 second they want everything. But they don't want to make fresh. So these are all bad habits. We have all cultivated them. I'm not just talking about those kids or any. We also have. We make coffee, microwave and drink it because no time. So the point is that we have to become, we will pursue, we will study that for which we have given importance. You have given importance to your family, you will work towards your family. You have given importance to your parents, you will serve your parents. You have given importance that this is my house, you will keep it clean. You have given importance to your bum, you will wash it every morning after toilet, isn't it? If you don't have given, you will not. Simple. You will, if you are giving importance to your body that I need to keep it clean, then you will take shower every day. If you have given importance that I must look neat, then you will wear fresh clothes every time. So, have we given importance to the scriptures? We are coming because we are studying scriptures. This is how Bhagavad Mahapuran began, and that is the greatness of Bhagavad Mahapuran that was taken from Padma Puran. What is the greatness? That was the first chapter of this Bhagavad Mahapuran. So until unless we don't feel the greatness, importance, need of it in our life, till then we will not engage with it and study it. Right? So that's the point. Now we move on to what is the next one? Atha Saptamodhyayah, 7th chapter, different schools of Atharva Veda and characteristics of the Puranas. Suta Uvacha Atharvavid Sumantuscha Shishyam Adhyapayat Swakam Samhitam Sopi Pathyaya Veda Darshaya Choktavan Shauklayanar Brahma Balihi Modosha Pippalayanihi Veda Darshasya Shishyaste Pathya Shishyanatho Shrunu Kumuda Shunako Brahman Jajalishchapya Tharvavit Babhru Shishyothangirasaha Saindhavayana Evacha Adhiyetam Samhite Dve Savarnyadyas Pare Adhiyetam Samhite Dve Savarnyadyas Pare Nakshatra Kalpa Shantischa Kashyapangirasadayah Ete Atharvanacharyaha Shrunu Pauranikan Mune. He says, Suta Maharaj is telling Shaunaka the Rishi, this is how the Bhagavad Mahapuran began. Sut Maharaj was asked, please tell us the great Bhagavad Mahapuran. You heard it before, because Sut Maharaj ji, when Shukdev ji Maharaj was telling, Sut ji Maharaj was sitting there among those 10,000 rishis and munis. So he also heard it that time. So he says, I want to know. He says, Sumantu, versed in Atharva Veda, taught his collection to his pupil Kabandha, who in turn taught it in two parts to his pupil Pathya and Veda Darsha. Shuklayani, Brahmabali, Modosa and Pippalayani were the pupils of Vedarsha, who taught them his collection in four parts. Now here the names of Pathya's pupil, Kumuda, Shunaka and Jajali, a master of Atharva Veda. O Brahmana sage, were the pupils of Pathya, from whom they received a collection in three parts. Babhru, a pupil of Shunaka, born in the line of Angira, and Saindhyavayana, another pupil, studied two separate collections at the feet of their master, while Savarnya and others were the pupil of Babhru and Saindhyavayana. Even so, there were others, example Nakshatra Kalpa and Shanti, the authors of Kalpas or treatises of these very names on ritual acts, giving rules for them. Kashyapa and Angirasa, these were the teachers of Atharva Veda, and now here of the teachers of the Puranas, O Shaunaka. So in this way, just to hear these names by our ears, we don't, if we remember, good, but at least each name has its own vibration. Just like Papa has a vibration. If you say Papa, some Papa will listen. because he also considers himself Papa. He also considers. You get three Papas if you call, but you have a name. So when she says Daksha, another name of Parvati, Matangi, she was Matanga Muni's wife. Wife or child. Huh? Like that. So now, how are the Puranas divided? We know, what do we know about Puranas? So we saw Vedas are divided into four parts: Yajurved, the Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharvanaved. And in those, the various rishis were given different sections that we saw all that in detail. Now Puranas. How many Puranas are there? 18 main Puranas and 18 sub Puranas. This is what I know. Now let's see what he tells. He says, त्रय्यारुणी कश्यपश्च सावर्णिरकृतव्रणः वैशम्पायनः ऋतौ षड्वै पौराणिका इमे अधीयन्तव्यासशिष्यात् संहितां मत्पितुर्मुखात् एकैकामहते मे तेषां शिष्य सर्वासमध्यगां कश्यपोऽहं च सावर्णी रामशिष्यो कृतव्रणः अधीमहि व्यासशिष्यात् चतस्रो मूलसंहिता. He says, Tayyaruni Kashyapascha Savarni Rakruta. So he says, Trayaruni Kashyapa Savarni Akrutavarna Vaishampayana and Harita. These, as a matter of fact, are the 6 teachers of the Puranas. They learned one collection each from the mouth of my father Romaharshana, the pupil of Veda Vyasa. So, how did it come? From Veda Vyasa, so where did it come from? The Chatushloki Bhagavad was given by Brahmaji to Naradji. Naradji gave Chatushloki Bhagavad to Maharishi Vedvyas. Maharishi Vedvyas wrote all these Puranas. He gave it to Romaharshana. Right? Romaharshana gave it to the father of Sutji. If he has not given his name, to give it to gave it to my father. Romaharshana is the father of Sut. And Romaharshana gave it to his son Sut. He heard it from his father. And this is the lineage, how it has come. So when we say that we are Swami Paramananda Saraswati, from where have you come from, bhai? Oh, we belong to the lineage of Shankaracharyas. Which Shankaracharya? There are so many Shankaracharya. There is Badrika Ashram, there is Dwarka Ashram, there is Puri Ashram, there is Sringeri Ashram. Oh, we belong to Sringeri Ashram. So all Saraswatis belong to Sringeri Ashram. All Bhartis belong to Sringeri Ashram. All Puris, they belong to Puri Ashram. And this way the various names are divided. Giri, they belong to the Badrika Ashram. So who was your, yes, right now who is there? Bharti Tirtha is there. Who was there before that? Oh, so many, Chandrasekhar Saraswati was there, or I don't know what their names are. But if you don't even know in between, but who was the first one in your ashram? Oh, it was no, Shankaracharya. All are Shankaracharya, no? But what was his name? The Mandan Mishra, the Buddhist fellow who got defeated by Shankaracharya, whose wife was the referee. After he got defeated, so as I told you, whoever gets defeated has to take on, because he couldn't put his philosophy in a convincing way. So he became the Shankaracharya of, I also forgotten. It is there, but I can't remember it. So he became the Shankaracharya of Sringeri. So we belong. So Adi Shankaracharya gave the knowledge to that Shankaracharya. He made him the first Shankaracharya, and from that time, in 8th century, and from that time, we have the entire list of all the Shankaracharyas till today. It has never been broken. See, to that lineage we belong. Same way we saw Brahmaji got the knowledge from his source, Brahman, Narayana. He gave it to Narad Muni. Narad Muni gave it to Badrayana Rishi. That Rishi gave it to Romaharshana. Romaharshana gave it to Sut Maharaj. And Sut Maharaj gave it to our teacher, and the teacher gave it to us, and we are giving it to you. So that's the sequence going on, isn't it? They learned one collection each from the mouth of my father, Romaharshana, the pupil of Vedvyas, while I, as their pupil, studied all the collections. So Sut Maharaj says, I studied all of them. Whereas the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names which were taken, Traya Aruni, Kashyapa, Savarni, Akrutavarna, and Vaishampayana and Harita. These 6 people, they learned only some of them, not all of them. But Sut Maharaj, he studied all, he heard all, not studied, he heard, because Shravanam, he heard all the Puranas from his father's mouth. Kashyapa, Savarni, Parshurama's pupil Akrutavarna, and myself, Ugrashava, learnt 4 more original collections from my father, Romaharshana, pupil of Vyasa. What are they? Purana Lakshanam Brahman, Brahmarshi Bhir Nirupitam, Shrunushva Buddhimashritya, Veda Shastranusaratah, Sargo Syata Nisargascha, Vritti Rakshantarani cha, Vansho Vanshanucharitam, Sanstha Heturapashrayah, Dashabhir Lakshanair Puranam Tadvido Viduhu, Kechit Panchavidam Brahman, Mahadalpavyavasthaya. Okay, we'll stop here. Then he says, now here, O Brahmana sage, Shaunakji, with a clear mind, the characteristics of Puranas as determined by Brahmana seers according to the viewpoint of the Vedas and Shastras. See, I'll repeat it again. What are the scriptural authority in our life? What is this authority of all the knowledge in our life? You may not know that authority right now because we are so besotted with Western way of thinking. So what is the main source of knowledge? Vedas, which were revealed. Puranas, which were remembered. Itihas, which was noted down as it was happening. And the words of the saints and sages. So what are Vedas? They are called Shrutis, they are heard. Puranas, they were remembered. This is a Puran. So he wrote it down. Then Mahabharata and Ramayana are the historical, the Valmiki wrote down while Ram was there. Ved Vyasji wrote down Mahabharata while all the characters were still there. In his lifetime he saw that. He saw the entire span of the from Shantanu onwards, even before, from Satyavati point of view. He knows all that till the end of, till he wrote all this, isn't it? Till the end of Parikshit. So, with a clear mind, the characteristics of Puranas as determined by Brahmanas, seers, according to the viewpoint of the Vedas and Shastras. So, Puranas' viewpoint cannot be yours and mine. They should be reflecting the knowledge of the Vedas alone. So, even though we are here seeing the stories of gods, there is Skanda Puran, there is Shiv Puran, there is Shri Puran, there is Devi Puran, there is Ganesh Puran, there is so many different names are there. But what is the stories? We get lost in stories. We start now, all the movies are made only from story point of view, isn't it? Devon ke Dev Mahadev. They must have taken the Ling Puran, Shiv Puran, all these Puranas, and done the research and come. But what is the basis? What is that knowledge which they are trying to convey through the stories? When you're taking children's class, you try to give a value to the children through a story, isn't it? Then for a child that is easy. You tell him, if you put him like these fellows are sitting in this lecture, I'm giving talking, they are bored. Maybe a little bit they are interested. Why they are bored? Because data shows. Last week they answered, today, this week they didn't remember. Right? That is how it is. Because interest is not there. That for that moment interest is there. Because for them it is a punishment. They wanted to go up and muck around, but they are stuck here. Are you? You're enjoying? Hi, hi. I like it. Huh? So good. If you're liking it, enjoying it, it's good. Then I am inspired even more. So, those well versed in the Puranas declare the Puranas as distinguished by 10 features, discussing the following 10 topics. See? Now these are the 10. How many chapters are there in Bhagavad Mahapuran? 12 chapters, isn't it? Huh? 12, sorry, not chapters, cantos, sections. Cantos, sections. So 12 sections are there. So now what is he saying here? The first part, what is he saying here? 10 topics, and every Purana is having these 10 topics. What are they? First, the first topic is about Sarga, which is how creation came about. So in Bhagavad Mahapuran, because it is talking about Narayana, Narayana's glory is being sung by his devotees, so naturally the creation came from Narayana. But you study Shiva Puran, who is the creator? Shiva. If you come to Devi Puran, who is the creator? Devi. Is it confusing? For a mind which says one religion for all, it is very confusing. One God for, not one religion, one God for all. It is very confusing. But for us, the more the merrier. Last week I told you, what is the greatness of a culture? You can't say you were not there. You remember this part. Abhi thappad padega. Abhi yaad aaya. The greater the variety, the greater the culture. Now in last 4 weeks you saw 4 different types of sambars, right? 4 weeks, 4 different types. Same dal, same water, but different masala. Same masalas also, but their proportion, mixture is different. Add this, delete that, add that, delete that, and different taste. So, the greater the variety, the greater the culture. And that follows in our Puranas also. The greater the number of gods, the greater that many number of minds are catered to. Every mind is not thinking the same way. Maybe one mind is emotional, one mind is logical, one mind likes mathematics, another mind likes history, another mind likes science, another mind likes cutting and pasting, another mind likes something, another mind doesn't want to do. Lazy. Another mind is a workaholic. Another mind is, what do you call? Until unless I don't experience, I will not gain, I will not understand. Some minds, they see other people experiencing and they learn the lesson from other people. They don't have to go through. So different mindsets are there. Different mindsets are there. And for catering to those mindsets, these different Puranas are there, different gods are there. So if you have Shiva, you don't like to take shower, then your name is Kailash. Because in Kailash you don't need to take shower. When we go to Kailash, we don't take shower. Can't. There's no water there. Then what do they use? They use vibhuti. Or you just take a piece of cloth, make it wet, and you wipe your body. That's all. What about clothes? You wear the same clothes for 10 days. Oh, that's very close to what I do nowadays. So those who are that type, they will automatically get attracted. Those who are very awake and they are busy, they will be attracted to Skanda, he is a doer, or they will be attracted to Vishnu. Those who are too much into imagination, they will, or creative, because imagination is creativity, they will be attracted to Brahmaji. Those who are into energy, they will be attracted to female, the goddesses. Now goddesses also, so many different types are there. One is on a owl, one is on a, Lakshmi is on a owl, Saraswati is on a lotus, and Shitala Mata is on a donkey. Which one you want? Depends what type of mindset you have. It's the same one but expressing as different. Now, how can you as your mum made same sambar in 4 different ways, today probably we'll get the 5th one. Huh? Same way when we were kids. Our mum, or you will be noticing it, your kids or young mums who are here, when your child doesn't want to eat and you want to give nutritious food to that child, you will find different ways of making the same. Sometimes you make it a pakoda out of what do you call, out of out of carrot. Another time you make a soup out of carrot. Another time you will make a salad out of carrot. Another time you will put some salt, pepper on it. Another time you will put some different color on it and give it to the child. And the child gets fooled. And the nutrition goes in. Isn't it? Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. That one is appearing as all these ways for the benefit of the humankind. And humankind is not all the same. Everyone is unique. Everyone is different. And therefore, even though the topic of creation is taken in every Purana, and it is taken from that particular God's point of view, but a clear mind, that's why it said, with a clear mind, the characteristics of Purana as determined by the knowledgeable people, Brahmanas, according to the Vedas. So, how is the creation explained in the Vedas? That process of creation is explained through the stories in the Puranas. See? Through the Puranas. Characters may be a little bit different or may not be different, but the principle will be exactly the same. Whether you eat pakoda, whether you eat salad, whether you eat mash, whether you eat soup, it will be carrot only. So whether it is Bhagavad Mahapuran, whether it is Shiv Puran, whether it is, the principle is the same, that which is given in the Vedas. So the knowledge of the Vedas, which can be a bit straightforward, there is no story there, it is only the principle that is given, that is made user friendly through the Puranas by way of stories. So the first part was the creation of the universe. Now, what is told in the creation of the universe, the modern scientists have not discovered it yet. The modern scientists are far, far, far behind. They are talking about quantum, this, that, but still they have not come to where our scriptures are already talking about. They have discovered parallel universes now in quantum physics, quantum theories, parallel universe. They are talking about hologram now. Have you seen holograms? Nowadays, Modi ji gives hologram everywhere. He doesn't go for physically. In Australia also, the first lecture or talk was given by the NAB or ANZ, or Telstra I think. The Telstra CEO in Adelaide, and a hologram was sitting here. He was here, but his hologram was giving the lecture. So he is speaking, just like I am sitting here, I am giving lecture, but there are machines by which the exact copy gets created on a stage somewhere else. And if you see our movies, don't they do all the time? They can vanish from one place, and here we have not learned how to vanish yet, but we can multiply. And that is hologram. That means that at particle level you are able to reproduce the same image at other places. So Krishna Bhagwan, Narayana is lying there, and he is appearing at so many places at the same time. See?
Same thing happened in the war also. Ravana and Rama war. Ravana appears.
Ravana appears many places. You have seen in the movies, you see, and then he says, ha 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 ha, how will you recognize me? I am so many and you are one. Which one is the real me? And Ramchandra ji, because his mind is clear, he is focused, he is not less, he is integrated. Because he is integrated, he is fearless, he is focused, he finds out the correct one and it finishes the illusion. With one arrow, he finishes all the illusion. Are you able to? So, when you are dreaming, are you able to finish your illusion? Dream is an illusion, isn't it? Are you able to finish it? Yes. The moment you wake up, whole illusion gone. Isn't it? Now, in the waking, if you are daydreaming, are you able to finish the illusion? Only when someone calls you or mom pinches you, stop daydreaming. This is not the age. So, if someone asked me the other, where, our Raghavendra, our Vishruta. First time I had a good chat with her. We were talking and she says, Swamiji, now she's grown, she's 15 years, man. You are 15? Oh, both are 15. And she's asking me, Swamiji, what is schizophrenic? I go, why do you want to know schizophrenic? You asked me some positive. No, I want to know. I said, we are all schizophrenic. And mom is a doctor. Ayurvedic. She's looking at me. She knew it. So she said, how? So what is schizophrenic? I said, when various personalities are not in control, then it is a disease. When they are in control, we call it normal. So are you not a daughter for your mother? She said, yes. Are you not a sister for your brother? She said, yes. Are you not a cousin for your cousin? She said, yes. Are you not a student in school? I said, so how many of you are there? 5. I just mentioned 5. There may be many more. Isn't that a crowd in your head? She said, yes. I said, do you get confused with this crowd, or do you have this all roles that you are playing under your control? She says, yeah, I am there, and so you are normal. So who's schizophrenic? Who is not able to control the various roles that are expressing in his mind. Where are all these roles? Only in the mind, no? Simple. So prepare yourself. Never allow imagination to take hold of us. You must be in control of imagination. If You choose to start the imagination, you should be able to stop it also. When you want it, not when it wants to stop. And this is growth. This is mental growth. This will make you into a person who is able to handle all challenges and difficulties in life. Because you know what is the limit to indulge in anything. Because who are these people who get fixated in some thought and they don't know when to stop? And then thought becomes more important, it overpowers their mind and they lose their mind. Then where do they end up? Mental hospital. If not, they get into drugs. If not, they get into alcohol. If not, they get into something or the other. Because they cannot handle their mind. Because they cannot handle their mind. So learn to handle your mind. Meaning, handling mind means learning to handle your thoughts. The thoughts should not overpower us. We should be the master of our thoughts. Whatever thoughts are coming. There's nothing. Mind's job is to think, isn't it? So here, with that, some information, we come back to creation. Sarga is creation of the universe. So, principle is the same as given in the Vedas, but it is expressed in Puranas from whatever the Purana is about. If it is Vishnu Purana, creation from Vishnu's point of view. Ganesh Puran, creation from Ganesh point of view. Shiv Puran, creation from Shiv point of view, and so on. Who gets confused? Who does not know the principle. They get lost in the stories. We hold on to the principle. Play. Then next one, Visarga. So creation and then destruction. Vritti. What is it? Vritti. Then Raksha. The Manvantaras. Manvantaras are the various periods of time. Vrittis are the various thoughts. But here I will see what the meaning is. I will tell you next time. Raksha, that word Raksha means protection. But what is it signifying, we'll see. The Manvantaras, the periods of time. Vamshas, the dynasties of kings. Now which country till today, whether you take South America, the Incas, the Aztecs, the Mayans, you take the Europeans, or you take the Arab world. Now they have just discovered a new city near Luxor in Egypt, which is 3,000 years old. 3,000 years old. Yeah, but we have even older. But point what we are making here is that our scriptures, Puranas, they name all the kings from Rama's point of view, from time of Ram. We even know the names of the king before Ram. Maybe few names are missing in between, but from the time of creation till few hundred years ago, because the dark ages began, we lost the Gurukul system, or when we read the Puranas, the whole list of kings, no other country has this exhaustive detail of the lineage of kings. Who is son of whom, who is son of whom, who is son of whom. Just now I told you that from creator, from the infinite came the Brahmaji, the creator. From Brahmaji came the Sanat Kumaras. From Sanat Kumaras came the Narada. Then from Brahmaji came the Sapta Rishi. From Brahmaji came the Manu and Shatrupa. Manu and Shatrupta, then came the whole creation. Then rest of the and from the rishis also, rest of the creation, some of the creation was created. And this is how everything expanded. Now, this is only about the rishis. But what about the kings? All those details are given there in the Puranas. Now, no other culture has in such exhaustive details the entire lineage for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Now, that itself should make us feel, wow. Huh? That itself should tell. Continuing, where are we? Raksha, the Manvantaras, Vamshas, the dynasty of kings. Vamsanucharita, the Charita is the story of that particular Vamsha, like Surya Vamsha, Chandra Vamsha, what happened in that, what was the greatness of that particular dynasty. Then Samstha, Hetu and Apashraya. Some teachers recognize the features of the Puranas as fivefold only. So some say it is 10, some say it is 5. What is that? O Shaunaka, side by side with the distinction of great and small according as they deal with 10 topics or 5 only. Just as when we say we are a body, what do we say? Is body made up of 3 things or 5 things? 5. What are they? Okay, it's made of earth, water, fire, air and space. What other 5 are there? Gross body, vital air body, mental body, intellectual body and Anandamaya Kosh, which is the causal body. Is it made up of 3? Also, gross body, subtle body, causal body. It's also made up of 3. Is it made up of 2? Yes. Consciousness and matter. Jad and Chetan. See? So it's how you look. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in one way of thinking. So it is 2 also, it is 3 also, it is 4 also, it is 5 also, it can be 7 also, and it can go up to 32 or 36 something. So, how come you are here? Holidays? School holidays, okay. So, topics of according deal with the 10 or 5 only. Then in the 11th verse, we'll read from 11th. What's the time? 8. Okay, थोड़ा सा करके खत्म कर देते हैं. क्या है 11th verse? अव्याकृत गुणक्षोभान् महतस्त्रिवृतोऽहमः भूतमात्रेन्द्रियार्थानां संभवः सर्ग उच्यते पुरुषानुगृहीतानाम् एतेषां वासनामयः विसर्गोऽयं समाहारो बीजाद् बीजं चराचरं वृत्तिर्भूतानि भूतानां चराणाम् अचराणि च कृता स्वेन नृणां तत्र कामाचोदनयापि वा रक्षाच्युतावतारेह विश्वस्यानुयुगे युगे तिर्यङ्मर्त्यर्षिदेवेषु हन्यन्ते यैस्त्रयीद्विषः मन्वन्तरं मनुर्देवा मनुपुत्रा सुरेश्वरः ऋषयोर्वशावतारश्च हरे षड् विधमुच्यते. Okay. So, in the 11th verse he says, the evolution of Mahat Tattva, the principle of cosmic intelligence, through the disturbance in the equilibrium of the 3 gunas, constituting the unmanifest primordial matter and the threefold ahankara, form the Mahat Tattva, and from the threefold Mahat Tattva, threefold ahankara of the 5 subtle elements, the 11 indriyas, the 5 senses of perception, and the five organs of action and the mind and their objects, the five gross elements, as well as of the deities presiding over the senses, is called sarga or creation. So what is sarga? What is creation? Now see. So this is the principle. We are not talking about what they are talking about in Shiv Puran or Vishnu Puran or Ganesh Puran or Devi Puran. Wherever they are telling you, the story will be a little bit different. But the principle is always the same. And what is the principle? What is Mahat Tattva? Here he says, Mahat Tattva, the principle of cosmic intelligence. Is matter intelligence or, okay, let's see, the principle of cosmic intelligence through the disturbance in the equilibrium of the three gunas constituting the unmanifest primordial matter. So what happens? One is, so think about your mind. Take your mind. When you wake up in the morning, when you wake up, are there many thoughts in your mind? The moment you wake up, are there many thoughts in the mind? No. It's only, you're awake. For a moment, your eyes are still closed. You become aware of yourself. I am. That you are awake. Then slowly, maybe after a second, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, half a minute, depends from person to person, then you will become aware of your breath. Then you will become aware of your body. Then you will becoming aware of the body, you will become aware of which position you are lying in. This happens very slowly. For you it is very quickly because it starts. But on Saturdays, Sundays, it is slow. Nobody is waking you up. You don't have to catch a bus, you don't have to go to school, you don't have to eat breakfast, you don't have to go to shower at 6:30 in the morning. So you are lying. When you wake up, this is how it will happen. Catch. Or when you are sitting in meditation, when you come out of meditation, you catch. What is happening in your mind? Your mind is empty. Some people become afraid of that emptiness. So we are not talking about those people. We are talking about that when you become aware, how does data enter into your mind? How does data? Are you feeling heavy because you are 60 kg old? Heavy? You are 60 kg. That's why you are saying no. Whoever is 60. So if you are 80 kg old, from 60 to 80, have you become heavier? Yes, 20 kg more, no? Now tell me one thing. You have a hard disk. In the hard disk, before such a big hard disk, I have still those big itna bada, like a video player, itna bada. It is 1 terabyte. Now, I got such a small one, it has 4 terabytes. Now, when I am putting data in the USB or in the external hard disk drive, or you are saving data in your laptop, does the laptop become heavy? It was empty. You have put data, disk is full, the laptop is heavy. Then how come you are heavy? How come you are heavy? How come we are heavy? So what is the data? Memories. Right? Memories is the data. Now you're studying all this in the school and in the college or in the, you're remembering all your friends, their names, what you have to do, that you have to go to work, that you have to cook food, that you have to do the gardening, that you have to do this, that you have to, so much data is there, isn't it? But you get tired, no, sometimes? Does the hard disk get tired? Does it get tired? No. How come you get tired? Question. Just like hard disk is empty. So where is the information stored in that emptiness. It is stored in emptiness only. You correct me if I am wrong. I don't know much. So you are storing the data in the emptiness. Where is the mind? Can you show me where the mind is? Some modern science or the kids are taught it's the brain, it's not the mind. Cut the brain, you can't find the mind. So where is the mind? It's empty. It's nowhere. Someone is there? Okay. So it's nowhere. So how come in that empty mind the data is coming, the memories are coming, the information is coming, and the mind is getting tired? Hard disk doesn't get tired. This is the principle which is told in our Vedas, that the whole creation is in you. Where in you? In your mind. You are not in the creation. The whole creation is in your mind. How did Maharishi Vedvyas bring all the 19 Puranas? From memory. Puranas are memory. It was in his mind. The whole, if you can come to that point where you see the whole creation is in your mind, you are master of the world. You and God are not separate. You and God are not separate. But you don't believe it, no? You feel you have to survive. You feel you have to do something in order to grow. You don't take the standpoint that I am the source. The day you take it, all the data will come and you will never get tired. Does God ever become tired? Does Krishna ever become tired? Does God or goddesses whenever they are fighting, do they ever get tired?
No.
How come we get tired? We start in the morning, by afternoon. I was so busy at school. Acha, school you are busy. We got tired after going to school. Or we get tired after going to work. Why? Because we don't see the world and the work as within. We are seeing it that we have to exert energy, we have to expend energy, we have to do something in order to survive, in order to, if I don't work, how will I earn money? If I don't earn money, how will I eat food? If I don't eat food, how will I survive? It's survival. But if the whole creation is in you, plants, animals, people, past, future, everything is in you. Do you need anything to survive? You are everything. That is how the saints and sages are. They don't need to eat. Please put your audio off. You understand? Now, why I am telling you all this? This is the principle. Principle is mind is empty. Principle is in the mind thoughts come. Principle is the whole creation is in your mind. Principle is you are not in the creation. These are the basic points which we need to remember. This schooling doesn't teach you all this. School doesn't teach you. So now they are telling you what is the principle of creation. What is the principle of creation? That mind at totality level is called Shakti or energy or Avyakta or unmanifest or the energy, whatever you may call it. Now what happens when can energy express without the wielder of the energy? Can a mind express without a person? No, there is no person. and the mind is going around. Is it possible? Can a mind speak, talk, see, hear through the senses if there is no person? Is it possible? No. So mind cannot be possible without the person there. Similarly, the Shakti cannot be possible, cannot exist independently. She is expressing because she is the energy of a person. Who is that person? Whether you call it, here in this we are calling it Lord Narayana. In Shiv Puran we'll call it Lord Shiva. In Ganesh Puran we'll call it Lord Ganesha. In Ling Puran we'll call it Linga, Lord Shiva. So in this manner. In Skand Puran we'll call it Skanda, Murugan. So she is his energy. Now, if you are a woman, with respect to your husband, you are called wife. With respect to your children, you are called mother. So that person, infinite person, whom we call Ishvara or the infinite, with respect to his energy, he is called Ishvara. But when that energy starts, that is its nature. In the presence of the sun, the day comes, the night comes. Again the day comes, night comes. Is the sun making the day and night come? No. No. But it is happening, no? This phenomena is taking place. Similarly, in the presence of that Supreme Person, the phenomena of the energy or the Shakti is, sometimes it is quiet, sometimes it becomes active. Sometimes it becomes quiet, sometimes it becomes active. Do you become quiet and active every day? In sleep you are quiet, day, waking and dream you are active, right? You are physically active in the waking, mentally active in the dream more, and in deep sleep you are totally inactive. So similar, where is this activity? In the mind. But you are identified with the mind and you say, I am sleeping, I am dreaming, I am waking. Understand? And that also you say after you have come out of sleep or after you have come out of dream, then you can say that. While you are going through it, you can't say that. So, now understand this. So, that one power has its person, has his energy. That energy can sometimes is silent, sometimes it expresses. When it expresses, how does it express? Slowly, no? Suddenly it cannot. What is the slowly? First, it divides itself into three. What is the three? It divides itself into Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The moment it divides into three, creation has not come about yet. It is still in its nascent form. Just like when a sperm and an egg come together, the form of the body has not started. So what will happen? First, when they both meet together, the first cell will be created. Then what happens? That one cell will become two cells. Then what will happen? That two cells will become four cells. Then what will happen? 4 to 16, and it's exponential. And before you know, it is in the shape of a worm. And that is called a zygote. And then out of that worm form, which is just cylindrical something, from that the legs come out, from that the arms come out, from that the head is formed afterwards. Or first the head, something, I don't know the sequence. But slowly, different parts, as the cells are multiplying. It was one cell, but now there is a cell which is producing hydrochloric acid, another cell is producing insulin, another which is called pancreas. But it's all started from the one cell, isn't it? One became two. Or here in our case, two cells became, the creation started. So same way here, the mind, the energy became three. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. What is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas? Purity, dynamism and inertia. Purity, dynamism and inertia. Now when this expresses, when this happens, the person is the still one. So in with respect to purity, that Supreme Person is called as Vishnu. With respect to dynamism, that the Supreme Person is called as Brahma, the creator. And with respect to the inertia, he is called as Shiva, the destroyer. So one alone appearing as three. But before Shiva, Vishnu and who are they? Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, before they take form, they are still, just like a seed is there, a seed is dry. This is, we are talking about principle. The seed is dry. It gets a little bit of sunshine and it gets a little bit of water. What happens? That dry seed suddenly becomes bulges because life is vibrating inside it. You leave it for another 2 days. I just planted some chrysanthemum and I planted some marigold flowers, the dark ones. So all were seeds. Now, first I didn't disturb it because it needed to, but now the shoots have come out. So for the shoot to come out, there must be a root also. But when the seed has bulged, life is throbbing, but the possibility of the root and shoot is there, but it has not expressed yet. That point where life is possible, but it has not expressed yet, is called Hiranyagarbha, the cosmic egg. That is the cosmic egg. And Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh have not come yet. So with respect to that cosmic egg, or another word for it here given is Mahat Tattva. Hiranyagarbha, Mahat Tattva. Hiranyagarbha is the, Garbha means womb. It is the, see, what is the life, the Supreme Person expressing through that total womb? He is called Mahat Tattva. See. Then this Mahat Tattva, along with it, so Mahat Tattva is not becoming many. Woman is not becoming many. But whoever comes in front of the woman, if the husband comes, out of the woman, wife comes. Then daughter comes, out of the woman, mother comes. Friend comes, out of the woman, friend comes. But woman is the same. Similarly, the person, the Supreme Person, is the same. But what comes in front of him? If in front of him, whatever is expressing according to that, that will be his role. So all this I explained to give one point, that Hiranyagarbha. And that is the source. That is you. You are the Supreme Person, imagining to be an individual. How much disservice we are doing to ourselves. So here he says, the evolution of Mahat Tattva, the principle of cosmic intelligence, through the disturbance in the equilibrium of the three gunas, constituting the unmanifest primordial matter of the threefold Ahankara, from the Mahat Tattva and from the threefold Ahankara, the 5 subtle elements, the 11 Indriyas, and from that Mahat Tattva is the first ego. But which is this ego? It is pure. It is not, it is Ahankara is the principle. We take Ahankara as the ego. Ahankara is not ego. Ahankara is the principle. In deep sleep, when you are sleeping, what is keeping your body together? Why don't you splatter? If I keep a piece of ice for some time, what will happen? It will become water. It will spread everywhere. Why does your body not spread? Swamiji, don't challenge us. Before we were 30 kg, now we are 40. And moving on to 50. We are expanding. No, I'm not talking about that expansion. I'm talking about when you are sleeping, how come, if your body is made up of space, air, fire, water, earth, how come the body is still kept together? Who is holding it together? How come that body, when a person is dead, the space, air, fire, water, earth, which make that body, they go back to themselves. That's what happens in death. That's a different matter that we burn. But if you just leave the body like that, all the 5 elements which went into making the body, they'll go back to the 5 elements. How come when we are sleeping or dreaming or waking, who is keeping this body intact together? It is a principle, and that is the ahankar. So there is one in you, there is one in me, there is one in me, one in her, one in him. It seems that way. But we are talking about totality right now. In that totality, all of us are imagined. So that totality, I am. So remember I told you the whole creation is in me. I am not in the creation. The whole creation is in me. If you take that position, you are the Hiranyagarbha. You are the Mahat Tattva. You are the source. We'll leave it here. Keep thinking about it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.